going to read a poem by Lenapehoking. She's also Palestinian. It's called Running Orders. They call us now before they drop the bombs. The phone rings and someone who knows my first name calls and says in perfect Arabic, "This is David." And in my stupor of sonic booms and glass-shattering symphonies still smashing around in my head, I think, do I know any Davids in Gaza? They call us now to say, run. You have 58 seconds from the end of this message. Your house is next. They think of it as some kind of wartime courtesy. It doesn't matter that there is nowhere to run to. It means nothing that the borders are closed and your papers are worthless and mark you only for a life sentence in this prison by the sea. And the alleyways are narrow and there are more human lives packed one against the other, more than any place on earth. Just run. We aren't trying to kill you. It doesn't matter that you can't call us back to tell us the people we claim to want aren't in your house, that there's no one here except you and your children who were cheering for Argentina, sharing the last loaf of bread for this week, counting candles left in case the power goes out. It doesn't matter that you have children. You live in the wrong place, and now is your chance to run to nowhere. It doesn't matter that 58 seconds isn't long enough to find your wedding album, or your son's favorite blanket, or your daughter's almost completed college application, or your shoes, or to gather everyone in the house. It doesn't matter what you had planned. It doesn't matter who you are. Prove you're human. Prove you stand on two legs. Run.
So, maybe it's, well, I wanted to run something by everybody. How about abolishing the U.S. government? And that would obviously help Gaza, help people in Palestine, help a lot of people around the world where our, obviously our tax dollars are going, just decimating places. And decimating people here too, and it's such a vampiric system where how many people really consent to this, to having their tax dollars used to murder children? Like, I believe in humanity enough to know that we do have the numbers, but this lesser of two evils bullshit. Biden, Trump, all this stuff, it's really led to this. And there needs to be some kind of like acknowledgement of that, like that was the wrong thing to do. And what about not condoning any fucking evil at all? And why do human beings need a ruling class? Why do we need a government? Why? There's no good reason. They force you to labor for them at the threat of harm, the threat of incarceration, threat of dispossession, harassment, fines, and then use your energy to do things that you morally object to, again and again and again. And the banks, like the monetary system, is also a device of theft. And you really, you see how we just labor, they make it from nothing and charge us our labor to use it, plus interest. So it's all theft. So, and so many people have said this. Okay, I'm just gonna finish this because this is the most important thing. So I'm talking about abolishing the government that's funding the genocide. So I don't know why that's irrelevant. I'm talking about abolishing the U.S. government. I stand here in New York City in front of everyone and say, let's abolish it. And free Palestine. Free Palestine.
You're good. That was what I'm talking about. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. From where? To where? Palestine will be what? From the river to the sea? Palestine will be free. Thank you. I want to read one more poem. This is a poem not by Dr. Refaat or a Palestinian poet or contemporary poem. This is another poem that is one of the sources for his poem, I Must Die. It's by the Jamaican poet Claude McKay, who is an internationalist, communist, who lived here in New York City and around the world. He wrote this poem called If We Must Die in the aftermaths of the white supremacist riots and murders in the summer of 1919. And like the poem by Al-Mutanebi, the 10th century Iraqi poet that Layla read earlier, this is one of the sources that Refaat drew on for his work. If we must die, if we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. Though far outnumbers, let us show us brave, and for the 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men will face the murderous cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back.
I'm going to read a poem by the revolutionary poet June Jordan, whose life was committed to revolution and a free Palestine. This is called I Must Become a Menace to My Enemies. And I'm reading this tonight because I think in Refaat, Dr. Alareer's memory, we should take this energy forward. I will no longer lightly walk behind a one of you who fear me. Be afraid. I plan to give you reasons for your jumpy fits and facial tics. I will not walk politely on the pavements anymore. And this is dedicated in particular to those who hear my footsteps or the insubstantial rattling of my grocery cart and then turn around and see me and hurry on away from this impressive terror I must be. I plan to blossom bloody on an afternoon, surrounded by my comrades singing terrible revenge in merciless, accelerated rhythms. But I have watched a blind man studying his face. I have set the table in the evening and sat down to eat the news. Regularly, I have gone to sleep. There is no one to forgive me. The dead do not give a damn. I live like a lover who drops her dime into the phone just as the subway shakes into the station, wasting her message, canceling the question of her call, fulminating or forgetful, but late, and always after the fact that could save or condemn me. I must become the action of my fate. How many of my brothers and sisters will they kill before I teach myself retaliation? Shall we pick a number? South Africa, for instance. Do we agree that more than 10,000 in less than a year, but less than 5,000 slaughtered in 6 months? Well, what is the matter with me? I must become a menace to my enemies. And if I ever let you slide, who should be extirpated from my universe, who should be cauterized from Earth completely, law and order jerk-offs of the first of the terrorist degree, then let my body fail, my soul its bedeviled lecheries. And if I ever let love go, because the hatred and the whisperings become a phantom dictate, I obey in lieu of impulse and realities, the blossoming flamingos among my wild mimosa trees, then let love freeze me out. I must become a menace to my enemies.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to close us out tonight with one final poem by Hiba Abu, who was martyred on October 20th. She wrote this poem from under the bombing in Gaza a week before she was killed by the Israeli military. This poem is called I Grant You Refuge, and it was translated by Huda Fakhreddin. I grant you refuge in invocation and prayer. I bless the neighborhood and the minaret to guard them from the rocket, from the moment it is a general's command until it becomes a raid. I grant you and the little ones refuge, the little ones who change the rocket's course before it lands with their smiles. I grant you and the little ones refuge, the little ones now asleep like chicks in a nest. They don't walk in their sleep toward dreams. They know death lurks outside the house. Their mother's tears are now doves following them, trailing behind every coffin. I grant the father refuge, the little one's father who holds the house upright when it tilts after the bombs. He implores the moment of death, have mercy, spare me a little while. For their sake, I've learned to love my life. Grant them a death as beautiful as they are. I grant you refuge from hurt and death, refuge in the glory of our siege. Here, in the belly of the whale, our streets exalt God with every bomb. They pray for the mosques and the houses, and every time the bombing begins in the north, our supplications rise in the south. I grant you refuge from hurt and suffering. With words of sacred scripture, I shield the oranges from the sting of phosphorus and the shades of cloud from the smog. I grant you refuge in knowing that the dust will clear and those who fell in love and died together will one day laugh. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Thank you.
We are thousands, we are millions, we are Palestinians!
We are thousands, we are millions, we are Palestinians!